the bench will hold him accountable.
I can't wait to see it. As we take a look at the starting lineups for Billy Donovan's Gators. Casey Hill, Eli Carter, Chris Chioza in the backcourt, Dorian Finney-Smith, John Horford up front. And for the undefeated and #1 team in the country, the Harrison twins in the backcourt, Lyles, Anthony, Karl Anthony Towns, and Willie Cauley-Stein up front. Tony Green, Pat Adams, Joe Lindsay, three of the best are officials. Tony's got it in hand. Quarterfinal Friday. Let's go.
The buzz that's in this arena today, it's electric, partner.
There is a whole lot of blue. And if you're a Florida fan, hopefully you're wearing orange, you're going to blend in. Towns and Lyles, the two freshmen, play catch on the low block. Andrew Harrison missed the jumper. Rebound comes off to Florida.
The interior presence of Florida has been virtually ineffective against the Gators so far. Against the Wildcats so far this season. All it comes down to today is getting on the glass. You need Chris Walker, you need John Horford getting on the glass. About 6 or 7 rebounds for each of them, and I think that's good production.
Here is Dorian Finney-Smith on the drive against Cauley-Stein. What a move. Missed the shot, but he got Cauley-Stein in midair. And Towns with a rebound. Aaron Harrison on a runner. Got it. Florida back in a hurry. Here's Hill. Horford on a hook. Tie game.
And Casey Hill's had a great deal of success against Kentucky getting into the interior of their defense. He gets downhill better against them than any other opponent they played this year.
Again, the Harrisons. This time, Andrew Harrison. So the Twins have each scored. Eli Carter gets it down low. Nice pass and the flush by Finney-Smith.
Well, defensively, you had 2 go to the ball. Nobody was on Dorian Finney-Smith, and an easy finish at the iron.
Lyles might have gotten away with a walk. The jumper won't go, and Finney-Smith with the rebound. And Florida pushes it. Chioza, wrap around, nice pass.
Well, right now, the dribble penetration is breaking down Kentucky's defense. They're getting the ball into the paint and forcing that back line of the defense to make a decision. And when they do, they're vacating spots on the floor and allowing the Gators to get those easy looks the last 2 possessions.
We're only 2.5 minutes in, but at this pace, this is going to be fun, partner. Florida with its first lead. Towns hook pass to Cauley-Stein. He's fouled by Carter.
Well, Florida last 2 possessions, this is what we're talking about. You drive the middle, the back line of the defense has to step over. You see Karl Anthony Towns comes for the block. Willie Cauley-Stein doesn't pinch in. This time, Trey Lyles and Willie Cauley-Stein both collapse on the ball. They lose vision of where Dorian Finney-Smith is, and he's able to get in the rim.
Here's a Defensive Player of the Year in the Southeastern Conference.
And in my opinion, he should have been the Conference Player of the Year.
You and I talked about this yesterday. Bobby Portis won the Player of the Year, and you said they couldn't have just cats all the way across.
Well, and look, that doesn't take away anything from Bobby Portis,
No.
by the way. Bobby Portis is a tremendous talent. But the way that Willie Cauley-Stein impacts the game in all phases, in particular at the defensive end of the floor, I think really speaks loudly, and that's probably why he got the honor of Defensive Player of the Year, and they moved forward with that.
Casey Hill up and under. Great move. Hill, who had 15 in the second matchup between the two. And already John Calipari's got his platoon, the next platoon coming in.
And the reason for that is because defensively right now, Kentucky is allowing too much dribble penetration.
Cauley-Stein spins, left hand, won't go, rebound Horford. And ahead to Hill if he makes the catch. And he does.
And this John Horford, who's cutting along the back line. Casey Hill is bringing it back out.
Chioza was hoping for another wraparound pass to Horford. He's got to bring it back outside, but then it's Finney-Smith to a wide open Casey Hill. And John Calipari's not even going to wait for the TV timeout. He's had it.
He just said, out. And it's very simple. Their team right now is not competing at the defensive end of the floor like we've seen all season long. And Florida they're feeding off the energy that's back in December as well.
We're only 3.5 minutes in, but Florida has played almost perfectly on offense.
Well, they've limited the number of total rebounds at that end of the floor. Kentucky does not have an offensive rebound yet in this game.
Bakari Johnson and Tyler Ulis and Marcus Lee with ball in hand, and Devin Booker. So those four came in and stay with Aaron Harrison as one of the original starters. Here's Booker, great shooter. Baseline, missed the three. Hill rips it off the backside. Here's Michael Frazier's first touch. And a pick and roll to Horford. Horford couldn't handle a pass.
This gives him opportunity to get out in transition. Good transition defense that time by the Gators.
Yep. Marcus Lee, they'll back off him. They'll never back off Booker. Lee has to give it up. He throws it right over almost to us. But Ulis tracked it down. 5 to shoot. Ulis on a runner in the paint.
Has a really good on-ball screen by Bakari Johnson, and Ulis set it up beautifully to be able to turn that corner. Backline of Florida's defense stayed home. That's what opened up that area for him to stop and pop.
Finney Smith thought about taking one over the long arms of Marcus Lee and thought better of it. Frazier still hasn't been open. And he had a block from behind by Aaron Harrison. Nice defense by number 2. 14:41 remaining first half. Florida surprising the number 1 team a little bit here early.
SEC Network Basketball is presented by Regions Bank, proud to be the official bank of the SEC.
We said, listen, if the guy that you're defending has the ball, you play him. And if you're separated from him, you're out. It's that simple.
Pretty cut and dry.
Hey, Marcus Lee was completely asleep right there and allowed Murphy to get right in front of him to score.
Booker gave up an open shot and dribbled into trouble and then threw it away. Chris Walker on the floor for the first time. Michael Frazier standing over in the left corner. Still has not attempted a shot. Florida scored on 6 of their 8 trips. They won't get an opportunity to score this time.
Well, Marcus Lee's going to go sit on the bench because what Shannon just said, if you lose your man, you're going to sit down. And here's Marcus Lee right here. Watch how he plays this as we roll this play out. He's got vision of the ball, but he does not have vision of his man. And he was not below the level of the ball there. And that's why Murphy was able to get around him for the easy 2. And that's why he's sitting on the bench.
Just that cut and drive.
Sometimes we don't need to overcomplicate things.
Nice feed down to Cauley-Stein. He's fouled underneath. The mismatch down low as Frazier had to foul him.
Karl-Anthony Towns with a beautiful pass. They're bringing the hard double team on the catch for Florida, so that puts a lot of emphasis on the weak side wing pinching down underneath to try to eliminate that big on big pass. But that time Frazier was a step slow.
It helps your passing prowess when a 6'11" and a half guy is throwing it to a 7-footer.
Well, guys, Coach Cal admitted before the game that Willie Cauley-Stein has certainly not been there mentally. He said he didn't have the fire. He said, quote, a ball of energy is what we need Cauley-Stein to be in games. He didn't have that last time they played Florida. But the good thing Coach Calipari said is we're still winning despite the fact that he's not playing at the level that he needs to be playing at.
Here he is guarding out on the perimeter on Murphy. That's one thing he can do that probably nobody else in the country can, is guard a guy out on top of the key and then do the same down low. Picks up his first foul.
I think the game plan is pretty clear for Florida in this one. They're going to space out the floor, and they're going to look to drive and attack.
They've gone a little stagnant, though, since that blistering start. Frazier, Ucla on him, and nice job defensively by Ucla. Florida turns it over. Last touch by Frazier.
And Tyler Ucla, very strong defensive player. Look, just great job. His hands on there and
went off Frazier's left ankle.
Yeah. Ucla has done a great job managing this offense. Think about this in the last 81 minutes of the last 3 games. Just 1 turnover.
Andrew Harrison got the 3. Tied at 12. And that brought the Big Blue Nation to its collective feet at Bridgestone Arena. Carter will try a triple. Got it. And they quiet down immediately. Towns, a hook pass. Cauley Stein lost the handle but was fouled, and if that's on Frazier, that's 2 quick ones.
Eli Carter having the answer at the other end after the Wildcats tied it up. A little bit of space between Andrew Harrison and Carter, able to get that one up over the top. And then this is the action you're going to see. That's where Andrew Harrison's going to come from. It's the on-ball screen on the strong side. He comes off a little bit of a double. On the weak side, as the ball gets reversed, he gets the space to knock down the 3.
And all that shooting practice that Michael Frazier had last night at Vanderbilt isn't going to matter for the next 12 minutes and 49 seconds because he sits with 2 fouls. Cauley Stein spins baseline, trying to get around Murphy, threw up kind of a weak hook, but Karl Anthony Towns followed it for him.
When you leave your man to attempt to block a shot, again, you leave a little bit of a seam and gap on that weak side. And that was as easy as a 2 that Karl Anthony Towns is going to have.
So Kentucky has cut it to 1. Booker, the freshman, swatted away by Towns, but Walker was in the right place to bring it down. Carter for 3. Not this time. Kentucky can regain the lead this trip.
I would anticipate after the next media timeout, Casey Hill will come back out on the court.
Towns is fighting his way with a left hand. Boy, it's physical underneath right now, and Walker won the battle for the rebound. Chioza all the way down and just threw it to the cheerleaders for Kentucky. Well, Don Calipari might be a little more.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Calipari will take a seat momentarily at least. Let's go back to that trophy presentation, Sean, 10 minutes before the tip.
Yeah, I didn't like it. And I'll tell you why, because I think that mentally you're preparing for a game. You're preparing for an opponent that over the years has been your rival and a big test for you, and you're picking up a trophy and celebrating. Now, I know that's not Kentucky's call. That's not like the players were like, hey, yeah, coach, we're going to do this, but it takes away from your normal routine getting into a game, and maybe that's part of the reason why the energy level's down a little bit.
Yep. As you said earlier to me, business trip.
This is a business trip. It's not, celebration world tour. The world tour will come if they're able to finish this thing off and bring home the 9th national title to Lexington.
And that would be 40-0, 31-0 if you haven't followed Kentucky all season long. A perfect trip through the regular season, and the SEC got them that big trophy.
If Florida can stop turning the ball over, they've really helped themselves, because 7 of the 14 points that Kentucky has have come off of turnovers.
Nice feed inside to Horford from Carter. Horford's got 6.
He had only 4 points in that game at Rupp, and he's already got 6 in this one. Anything you get from the inside, I think, is positive for Florida.
That was pretty good defense by Booker, the freshman. Aaron Harrison got in midair, and Booker just did a flyby with those long arms and made that jump shot go a little too far right. Here is Booker. Beg your pardon. Robinson. Finney-Smith misses a jumper, and Horford keeps it alive. And a foul coming up on Trey Lyles.
Florida, once again, comes off the on-ball screens as Billy Donovan's offense has always predicated upon, and it's a great job using the rim to shield from the shot blocker as Karl Anthony Towns goes to run from behind to try to block that one. And Horford just goes to the other side of the iron and finishes.
Almost the midway point of the first half. Florida by 3. Hill in deep into some traffic.
Billy Donovan talked to his team is when they set those on-ball screens and someone's spaced up, continue to drive and attack, get them to move.
Carter, short. Rebound comes off to Trey Lyles. Ucla, some quick ball handling, working against Chiozza. And a whistle on the baseline and a foul. It's going to be on Finney Smith. That's his first. Aaron Harrison sits. Brother Andrew still on the floor with Ucla, Towns, Lyles, and Booker.
Well, Lyles didn't play in the first meeting and, of course, had a great game at Rupp. 7 of 12, 14 points, 6 rebounds against the Gators.
Towns out on top. Booker and Ucla, the 2 freshmen. Forced shot over Horford. Follow though is good by Towns.
What has turned Karl Anthony Towns into even a more elite player than he was has been his ability to dominate the interior.
Casey Hill up high off the glass. The follow by Finney Smith. He was looking for a foul. Looks at one of the officials. Doesn't get it. Booker on the other end. Wow, that's an airmail job to the other side. That wasn't even close.
When you talk about dominating 5 feet and in, this is the area of the floor that Karl Anthony Towns has become much more aggressive at. And look at it, just pushes himself into position and just goes and grabs it and puts it right back in. Second time he's got on the offensive glass, and his numbers over the last 5 games, you see him on the screen, are 68% shooting, 14 points, over 8 rebounds per contest.
Hill dribbled into trouble, gave it away. Booker, coast to coast. Kentucky leads.
And 50% of their points have come off of turnovers for the Wildcats.
At the 8.5-minute mark, their first lead since 4.5 minutes into the game. Chiozza has to hand it off to Finney Smith, who's trapped in the corner. Finney Smith, a triple. Kentucky looking to run. Lyles deep on the baseline. On the high, he didn't run out of real estate. Missed the shot, but Towns kept it alive. Andrew Harrison, a 15-foot runner. He's got 7, and the lead is 3. This is a big trip for Florida to get a basket. Carter up off the window. Nice drive by Eli Carter.
I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to sit down because of poor rotations over at the defensive end of the floor as Willie Cauley-Stein goes to the scorer's table.
Wide open Ucla. Rebound. Towns just fell to him, and now it's swatted out of there by Casey Hill. Nice defense by Casey Hill to knock it out of bounds. It'll still be Kentucky ball when we come back. But now they're up by 1. Just under 7 minutes remaining. Shannon's going to talk with Billy, and I'm sure he's going to tell his team, don't dribble into the lane and turn it over to the #1 team in the country.
Players, you guys started off very strong, but Kentucky...
This is great right now. I've got the game going on. I'm talking to you. I don't even know what's happening, but...
Well, they're starting to make a little bit of a run. What will be key in countering?
Well, I thought we had a great period to start the game attacking the basket, and we got the ball to the paint. I thought we got away from that a little bit, and then we've had a couple possessions we've gotten in there. So hopefully we can continue to mix that in.
I'll let you get back to this.
2 guys that shoot from the hip, John Calipari and Billy Donovan. Two that have already won national titles. They prefer coaching. They're talking during timeouts. But anyway, the officials held us up for Shannon to get out of the way. And we're back to the action with the Wildcats by a point. Booker forces a jumper from the elbow. Not a good shot.
That is a low percentage shot and one that usually you don't see out of this Kentucky Wildcat team.
Casey Hill doesn't care who's underneath. Missed the shot. Dakari Johnson will clear it.
That one was off balance.
Whoa, that's Dakari Johnson. That's like a runaway train running over Michael Frazier.
Well, and important that that one went that way because remember, Frazier has 2 fouls.
Yeah.
So this could have very easily been his 3rd personal foul. I think he was a little late getting there, to be honest with you, partner.
Dakari was basically just kind of out of control. He couldn't find a handle, and otherwise I think he would have had a little more finesse in running over Michael Frazier. Fans didn't like it on the replay, but it gives it back to Florida with a chance to regain the lead with the 6:20 remaining. Florida has only had 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes, though.
And this has been a problem for them over the course of the season, these scoring droughts.
Whoa. Robinson. Nice save on the baseline by Andrew Harrison.
Robinson got caught between trying to dunk that and trying to lay it in.
Dakari Johnson asking for it against Chris Walker, and now he's got it, and he bumps his way inside and scores.
They're just strong.
And Billy Donovan, and he's going to talk to the officials and his team as he meets Pat Adams before he meets his club over there on that side of the floor. And the discussion continues.
He called this timeout to talk to the official. I mean, he has not said a word yet to his team. And what he's talking about is Dakari Johnson on that previous post-up.
ESPN's app. Brad Nessler, Sean Farnham, Shannon Spake, and our SEC ESPN Network crew here. Bridgestone Arena, where the Wildcats are out in full force. Their fans have covered Music City, and they're a little bit happier now than they were earlier because they lead by 3. Walker keeps it alive. Battles underneath against Cauley Stein and scored. Chris Walker, not a big offensive threat normally, but not to be denied there. He just got run over by Dakari Johnson, but this one is going to be on Walker.
Walker at the offensive end battles it. He gets himself an offensive rebound. Now the key was to watch his feet. He shuffled him a little bit. They're able to finish, no call, and this one he just gets run over. Dakari Johnson's playing real physical in this game so far.
And on a pick and roll, he is fouled, or is the foul going to be out on where Ucla was?
It was on the screen, and Hill got caught up in it.
Wow.
That very easily could have gone against Dakari Johnson. He was turning as the contact was made. He was moving on that screen.
They're calling it the same way on both ends, but it's getting a little chippy right now. I'm not sure if I wasn't the officials, I'd just say, fellas, listen, we're going to change this up a little bit. The last thing we want in round 3, as Gary called it, is a fight to break out. Cauley Stein with a hook shot, his first field goal.
Well, you're starting to see Kentucky get the ball down low consistently, and they're finding they're playing through their strength, and their strength is their length. Their strength is their size in the interior, especially against the Florida Gators.
10 straight points in the paint for the Cats. They lead by 3. Frazier, 4-3. Rimmed out. Johnson the rebound.
We're going to need Michael Frazier to be productive at some point in time in this game, and it better happen sooner rather than later.
That was his first shot attempt, by the way. Cauley Stein kind of an awkward left-hand hook shot that wasn't even close, but an opportunity, a second try, shot clock. It never hit the rim, so the shot clock right now at 15. Dakari Johnson backing in, hook shot, baseline, rebound is off to Florida. Hill, nifty, Casey Hill.
He's coming right downhill, though.
He is.
I mean, that's his strength, is his speed and his ability to get inside the interior of the paint.
We'll nickname him down. Casey downhill.
You want to force him to go laterally. If you can make Hill go east-west, you're doing some good things. If he's going north-south, you've got problems. And Kentucky, their defense has allowed the perimeter guards to attack the middle of the paint and find success. Devin Booker tries to slide with him, but Hill gets the angle. At the other end, it's about the size. It's about the strength. It's about the Wildcats in the paint. And they've got the lead.
For most of the years to come, with the exception of St. Louis.
You're a music man. I thought it was great last night. You know, you and I, after we were done with our games, went down to Broadway, and you jumped on stage and sang a couple. That was just great, Brad.
You didn't know I had those kind of pipes,
I didn't know.
did you?
I know. You got great pipes. I mean, look what you've been able to accomplish in your career.
Yeah, but melody-wise, you didn't know I was that
No,
good.
I didn't know you had that much rhythm and that much flow.
Booker falling down, hits a three. Nope, they're going to call it a 2. He's still got his feet tangled up with Robinson. Yep. Robinson offensively, working inside. Going to take it all the way off the glass. The foul's going to be before the shot.
I think the foul's going to be away from the ball. I think it's going to be on Booker.
Yep.
So Booker gets the foul on the defensive end, but the offensive end, he was able to create an opportunity for a shot. And we take you back on that previous possession and show you how he was able to get open. He's going to start here on the screen and watch how he's able to work his way up over the top of the double screen action and knock down the shot.
You can see his left foot just inside the three-point line, and now he's got back-to-back fouls as working against Devin Robinson, who's 6'8". And Booker picks up his second foul, and Robinson a chance for a three-point play.
You think about this game, and in tournament settings we often talk about if you got a game underneath your belt, you kind of a little bit more comfortable. I think we saw that early. Kentucky was lacking some energy. But the other thing to think about in this game is this is Florida's championship game.
Yeah.
They have no chance of going to the NCAA tournament unless you win this game. And then you move forward and you go to the next round. And that's how it has to be developed for Billy Donovan's team. Meanwhile, for Kentucky, they've already locked up the #1 seed. Right. They've already locked up their opportunity to win a national championship. And as disappointing as a season as it's been for the Florida Gators, you know, a win against Kentucky in the season is a place like this at this moment.
Play tomorrow.
Oh. And a long way to go, obviously, before we get anywhere close to there. And obviously, Kentucky's got the lead right now. But this is going to be a fight all the way throughout.
Casey Hill picked up his second foul, and it sends Aaron Harrison to the free throw line.
Hey guys, a couple of things to watch for this Florida team in the closing minutes here. Billy Donovan told them, continue to probe the basket offensively, defensively. Get back in transition, set your defense. But if you're under the basket, take a charge. He wants him to be a little more aggressive.
Harrison second. Got them both. The lead has been as much as 5 for Florida. It's been 3 on several occasions for Kentucky as it is now. We work our way into the 3-minute mark.
Kentucky 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Only 1 free throw attempted so far for Florida.
And they missed it.
Pretty remarkable considering how many of their points have come inside the paint.
Oh, nice look by Casey Hill, and an even better move by Jacob Kurtz underneath for the reverse layup. Harrison all the way. Boy, he was flying through the air.
And that's where Kentucky can really hurt you. Out in transition, open floor situation there, and Aaron Harrison very aggressive to the rim.
Again, Casey Hill wanting to penetrate. Little teardrop, he put it up too high.
He didn't identify where the rim was until late, which is why the shot was so far off.
Aaron Harrison from his brother. Lyles trying to foul, and he'll go to the line. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Foul is on Finney Smith, and that's his second. Don't forget, coming up, Heroes Charge halftime report. Dari and Dane, Tony, first half analysis. New commissioner Greg Sankey introduced today. Had his press conference about 2 hours before the tip this afternoon. There's Greg. Longtime member of the SEC, 13 years on the job. He's one of the associate commissioners, and now the guy that's going to take over for Mike Slive in early August.
And a fitness guru. I mean,
yeah, marathon guy.
I've gone through Shannon Spake's workouts, which are brutal. Steps. I mean, she runs all these steps. She's a triathlete, and he's right there with her. He's like CrossFit flipping tires.
Yeah. Four-point lead is the biggest for Kentucky. Important minute and a half here coming up for the Gators to stay this close or maybe even a little better.
That's careless. It can't be cute. Don't be cute against Kentucky.
Lyles. Kurtz did a nice job to hold his ground and not give him a good shot. Andrew Harrison knocked it away from Hill. He thought it was over and back.
When it's deflected, it's not.
And now a walk. That's back-to-back turnovers for Florida. That's just what I was saying at the 1:42 mark. Make this an improvement going to the locker room. Don't do what they just did here in the last half minute.
Well, back-to-back possessions where they were just careless. Chioza is going to go to the bench. And you can't drive the middle against Kentucky and all of a sudden throw it behind your head, no-look pass, and not expect the help side defense to be there. Now, it didn't hurt them because they didn't score at this end of the floor. This last turnover might hurt them more.
On a drive, Andrew Harrison, turnaround one-hander. That wasn't a great shot either, but Lyles keeps it alive under a minute. And now Harrison from the outside. Still Kentucky with a rebound. This time Cauley Stein. They'll get a third crack at it. So staying on the offensive glass has kept the ball in their hands. The Harrison twins play catch on the right side. Lyles off balance. That's 3 bad shots in a row for Kentucky.
All those great offensive rebounds, all it did essentially was wind down the clock and get you closer to the half.
So Kentucky can make it a 2-point game or a 1-point game if they score.
It's pretty rare that you see Kentucky get 3 offensive rebounds and not finish one of them.
Under 10. Casey Hill working against Aaron Harrison. All the way inside. Had it swatted out of bounds by Cauley Stein. And there's still 2.6 remaining.
Hill on the drive, a little stutter step. And then Willie Cauley Stein coming from behind. They're going to have a quick hitter here.
Florida's going to take a timeout with 2.6 to try to come up with a play. Kentucky, that's what they've done all season long through 31 wins, is blocking shots.
That's best in the country. So what does that mean? That means they're forcing you to drive. They're forcing you to play one-on-one basketball and usually taking away option 1 and option 2 of your offense. Now, Florida's done a nice job here in the first half sharing the basketball and finding in-rhythm looks.
Robinson, the freshman. The jumper at the buzzer doesn't go. Score stays the way it is.
That was a good shot, though.
Yep.
And a great half of basketball. The interior presence of Kentucky kind of wore down a little bit on the Florida Gators as they started attacking down low in the paint.
25th time this season that the Wildcats have led at the half. They lead by 4. 31-27 is our halftime score. We'll join Dari Ncaa, Dane Bradshaw, Tony Delk for the Heroes Charge halftime report coming up after these messages from Nashville. Stick around.
Points off of turnovers in the first half, and Florida continues to turn it over. Wildcats are going to continue to score.
Brad Nessler, Sean Farnham. I wasn't a math major in college. I wasn't even very good at it in high school. I know one thing. The 2 guys we talked about an hour ago, Michael Frazier, Dorian Finney-Smith, that they don't score, this thing's over.
Well, and that's what they need here in the second half. And you look at the scoreboard right now and you say, okay, without those guys playing well,
still only down 4.
They're only down 2 possessions. I think that's a big positive for the Florida Gators. But you're right. In the second half, those 2 need to get going. You can't have Dorian Finney-Smith 1 for 5 from the field, and then Michael Frazier 0 for 2 combined 2 points between the two of them.
Let's check in with Shannon.
Brad, John Calipari continued to stress energy to his guys in that halftime locker room. He was brutally honest to them. He said, listen, if you start the half like that, this train is not going to continue to roll. He said the good thing is if a player is not playing with energy, he's got so many guys, he can play the ones that are. As far as Billy Donovan, he said he wants some more offensive athleticism, some more aggressiveness, particularly when it comes to rebounds. And he mentioned, as you mentioned, Sean, some of those offensive breakdowns.
Let's see if they can get the penetration, the shots that they did to open the first half. They do immediately as Eli Carter scores the first basket of the second half. Cauley-Stein working the lane with the left hand. Got the roll.
Well, Kentucky comes right back out the way that they finished the first half, getting the ball down low on the block, playing through their bigs.
Finney Smith got a clean look from three-point land and missed it.
Eventually, Florida's going to have to make one from beyond the arc. They're 1 of 6 so far in the game, and they've had some really good, clean looks from the outside. That previous possession, though, Kentucky's ability to grind you underneath. We saw Willie Cauley-Stein. He knew exactly where he wanted to get to. Took a couple dribbles to get there, but able to finish.
Ucla, Andrew Harrison, Karl Anthony Towns, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Devin Booker on the floor for the #1 team in the country. Here is Booker around a pick. Playing one up there, and going to be a foul on Cauley-Stein over the back of Finney Smith trying to get the rebound. That's 2 on Willie. Chiozza did some good things in the first half and some erratic freshman things in the first half. Here he is at the point for Florida. Try to penetrate, can't get around Ucla, and there's 8 to shoot. Finney Smith says, oh, somebody's got to go to the hoop, and he drew a foul from either Harrison or Cauley-Stein.
It's going to be underneath. Was not going up for a shot. He looked to pass it off, and that's twice now, by the way, that a foul has been called on a drive in which Florida, on the whistle, didn't throw it at the iron. Instead, looked as if they were passing it out. He should be at the free throw line for Dorian Finney-Smith in that instance, and 2 quick fouls on Willie Cauley-Stein puts him to the bench.
I want you to call that one on Andrew Harrison. It could have been either guy. There's a deep pass to Horford. Back out. Casey Hill gave up a wide open 3. Had those long arms of Karl Anthony Towns at his face. Carter. Nice defense by Booker. And back come the Cats. Entry pass. Strong move, but a strong rejection by Finney Smith. Big time block.
That was outstanding rotation over from the help side.
First block shot, but it was with some authority. Cross-court pass. Andrew Harrison rimmed out a 3. And going to be out of bounds to Florida.
But what made this block possible was the fact that Horford was playing on that left shoulder, so you knew he was going to spin back to the baseline. And that's the great anticipatory skill of Dorian Finney-Smith to read how Horford was defending and going to the opposite side. Too often they stay on that shoulder and then the other guy just comes right behind him.
Right.
You got to realize if there's somebody there, he's probably going to spin and go the opposite direction.
Hill, hook pass, Horford, hook shot.
Horford's played really well in this game, all things considered, and what you hope to get out of him.
He only had 6 points in the first 2 meetings. He's got 8 points in this one.
And what I like about him is quick releases. Quick releases up over the top. Remember that game late at Florida when he shot faking?
Don't become 6'4" by putting it down at your waist. Ucla, the littlest guy on the floor, going to go to the free throw line.
We go back to Florida, and this is how they've had success offensively in this game. They come off the on-ball screen. Casey Hill is going to be able to turn the corner. Horford flattens out, does a nice job making his shoulders parallel to the baseline, so he's got a great target hand, and it allows him to go with that quick release.
Tyler Ucla at the free throw line, one of 9 McDonald's All-Americans on this Kentucky roster. Lightning quick. Gatorade Player of the Year in Ohio last year as a high school senior. Has 4 points in this one.
And only 17 turnovers in 18 SEC games.
Pretty strong for a freshman, or for anybody for that matter.
Alex Caruso almost had 17 last night. Right now.
Carter to Horford. Horford a ball fake this time and into a double team. And trying to bounce it off Aaron Harrison, and let's see what the call is going to be. I think it's going to be a foul on Harrison.
Well, see, this is the complete opposite of the previous possession. Now you're trying to drive into bodies. You're trying to shot fake. You kind of get out of position, and lucky and really fortunate actually to even get that call. There wasn't a lot there.
And they're going to switch on the lineup, and Chioza goes out.
Frazier in the deep corner. Eventually, you got to try to free him up for a shot.
Horford, long fadeaway hook.
That was a very low percentage shot, and as his balance was clearly off, he should have never shot that ball.
Lyles strong off the glass. Kentucky ups it to 6, their biggest advantage. Hill all the way around the baseline and now back on top.
That was actually something Billy Donovan talked to him about. Say, hey, don't be afraid to drive the baseline and bring it all the way back out.
Lost it out of bounds. Florida's first turnover of the second half. They're 8th of the game. They're down 6. 15:38 to play. Dangerous spot right now, Sean, for Florida. They don't let this thing get away from them.
Well, and this is one of the key components of talking to your team and hopefully learning from the experience of the other 2 games. Kentucky's going to go on a run. You've got to help determine the length of that run by your willingness to get a stop at this end of the floor and then get back to executing at the offensive end if you're the Florida Gators.
Dakari Johnson, offensive foul, pushed off on Horford.
And that call was made based on the discussion and the timeout in the first half. Well, Dakari Johnson got in twice to Chris Walker, and on this one, they saw it underneath. And I think they're going to go to the monitor and look at it.
Well, there was a high arm, right arm into Horford, and again, it was a different angle. Didn't look. I don't think that was intentional or anything, but it got John Horford right in the nose.
Yeah, I mean, you can call that a foul, that's fine. I don't think anybody can really dispute the fact that there was contact there, but certainly nothing more than that.
So that's the second on Dakari. Gives the ball back to Florida amid the boos from the Kentucky faithful. On the floor for Florida, Frazier, Carter, Hill, Finney-Smith, and Chris Walker.
If you tell me that we're 25 minutes into game action and you have 2 points from Dorian Finney-Smith and Michael Frazier, I tell you that Kentucky is blowing them out.
Walker mishandles the ball and goes out of bounds, and instead of trying to close the gap, it's turnover number 9 for the Gators. Not sure that was Walker's fault. That wasn't the greatest pass, as they got penetration and then just kind of dropped it and hoped that he could handle it. Aaron Harrison might have gotten away with a travel. I guess it was a jump stop, fly, get fouled.
Well, the difference, too, for Kentucky is they continue to earn trips to the free throw line. Now, Florida has attacked the paint, but they haven't earned their trips. Look, there's only 1 free throw attempt so far in the game. Meanwhile, Kentucky doing a nice job getting into the body of the defense and getting to the foul line.
And obviously, with 8 made free throws, that's made the difference in a 6-point game and then some. This guy doesn't miss many. 3 for 3 for Aaron Harrison.
He is 2 of 3 inside the arc, 0 for 1 from beyond it. And really, you look at his numbers over the last 3 games, just 18% from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, 53% inside the arc. He's been much better scoring inside, attacking, taking off the bounce.
He was the guy, though, in the first go-around of 2 regular season games against Florida with 23. Last 3 trips, Florida, 2 turnovers and a missed field goal. Walker, Ncaa Johnson just took it away from him.
Well, he exposed the ball behind the back of his head and just basically fed it to Ncaa.
The lead can go to double digits if the Wildcats score on this possession. Ucla's ball kind of came off his hand in the paint. He had to take the shot. Michael Frazier's wide open down court. Nobody saw him. Finney Smith just throws an elbow to get everybody out of the way, and he still missed on the drive, and now we got a 3-car pileup in the backcourt. 2 Gators down. Harrison with numbers on the other end buries a 3. This is how games get away from you when you're playing the Kentucky Wildcats.
Dorian Finney-Smith really with a push-off. It's not called. Then he gets kneed in the face by Ncaa Johnson. 2 bodies go down, and as 2 bodies go down, a 3-pointer goes up, and it goes in, and the Wildcats are rolling.
Yeah, Brad, he was favoring that right knee after that final play throughout that entire timeout, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But, you know, we've documented many times the story of Jacob Kurtz, how he started as a team manager. He was the fire inside that huddle, getting everyone together. And as far as Billy Donovan, he said, listen, you guys, we got to do this now. We have to play together for each other.
Yeah, they got to do it now, because if it gets any farther away as Hartford buries a 3, that's going to help the cause.
Huge shot for the Florida Gators. Again, as we mentioned, they start to pull away. You know that Kentucky's going to go on a run. That's how you respond. Can't get your head down. You got to be able to try to play through.
Lyles throws a shoulder into Kurtz, and now a steal by Carter. He's going to try to go coast to coast, and Ncaa Johnson blocked another shot. And both teams trying to take advantage of the open floor, and both teams turn it over. Florida trailing by 8. Here's Kurtz, who Shannon just talked about, to inbound into Casey Hill. Hill did a great job of penetrating early in this game. They've sort of shut that faucet off for the time being. He's got 6 points. He's been stuck on 6 for quite a while. He's trying to penetrate again, but he gets into traffic. Carter now, the lead for Hartford. Hook shot in close. John Hartford, the senior grad student transfer from Michigan's keeping Florida in this thing.
It's an excellent job. Horford called for this actually up top. When Casey Hill had the ball, he wanted the ball to go away from him so that he would come and set that secondary on-ball screen and be able to flatten out to the corner. And this is really one of the first times I've seen Horford all season long ask for the ball at the offensive end of the floor.
That's her first basket off a turnover. Only the 3rd turnover for Kentucky, so there hasn't been many opportunities. But first points off turnover for the Gators, and it makes it a 6-point game. And Kurtz knocked it out of bounds as Harrison tried a hook pass into the paint to Cauley Stein. And the Gators do a good job of getting in the way of that.
5 quick points by the Florida Gators.
Towns, whoa, that was an elbow. Not quite sure that wasn't called.
So strong going to the middle, and he loves on that block in particular. He sizes up the defensive player, sees the space on the floor, and gets right to it.
Frazier, and he goes down hard. Towns and Cauley Stein inside, knock that one away. Let's take you back to that last play, though.
Well, he sees the space where he wants to get, and he just...
That's not a foul?
He just roots him out with that left elbow. And there's no question who initiates the contact and creates the space. And it very easily could have gone in the opposite direction before that shot even went up. You can't clear out down low by extending out your elbow and backing the defensive player off.
Michael Frazier is finally in the scoreboard.
I should say you can't do that legally.
That's what I thought. I thought that was a rule.
But if you can get away with it, then certainly take advantage of it.
I mean, I just thought that was a rule. I've only been doing this 35, 40 years. I don't know.
So, yeah, you say you can't
really throw an elbow like I just hit you with.
That hurts, by the way.
12 minutes to play. 44-38, Kentucky trying to go to 32-0. Towns, nice look to Cauley-Stein. He missed the jam inside, as Florida's going to make him earn it from the free throw line.
And Coach Calipari upset with Willie Cauley-Stein. He wants him to finish that strong. He wants him to dunk and finish in the paint. Have an opportunity for an N1. Instead, he's going to have to go to the free throw line.
The under 12-minute TD timeout. 44-38. Top-ranked Kentucky is at the free throw line.
And Kentucky doing an outstanding job with their rebound efficiency. 11 offensive rebounds on 26 missed shots. That's 41% of their misses. They've been having the opportunity to get right back at it. The problem is, though, they only have 7 second chance points off of those 11.
Willie Cauley-Stein, a couple of block shots today. You saw 8 points, 4 out of 5 from the free throw line, which last year was a 48% free throw shooter. This year, closer to 60. And ripping 2 right there.
We saw with a fire out of Florida. We'll see how this last time out if they are able to maintain some of their execution.
Man, again, a pile up in the middle. Michael Frazier and Booker both go down. Michael Frazier has 2 free throws. Horford has been the scorer for the Gators, and he got another 2-pointer.
He has 15 points on 7 of 8 shooting. They've needed all of them, considering Frazier and Dorian Finney-Smith have brought pretty much nothing.
Cauley-Stein in close, missed in close. Second chance, no go. Florida trying to save it. Casey Hill goes all the way to press roll.
Go back to Dorian Finney-Smith. It's going to pop. Pass wasn't on time, and so a little shot fake drive the lane. Karl-Anthony Towns has to honor that drive. Otherwise, it's a dunk for Finney-Smith, and they give up the long ball.
Ucla at the point for Kentucky. Aaron Harrison on a jumper. Got it. Aaron Harrison's got 7.5, 13 for the game. Here's Carter with a wraparound. Horford missed, got his own rebound. Kick out. Michael Frazier, 3. Still no good from the outside.
Kentucky looking to extend this lead back up into double figures on this possession.
Ucla threw it away. Carter will race down court with Harrison and score.
It was essentially an outlet pass by Tyler Ucla. He doesn't make many mistakes like that.
Halfway through the second half, 48-42 Kentucky. Cauley-Stein, 1 dribble, 1 lob, 1 score for Karl-Anthony Towns on the flush. Carter spinning his way inside. Fade away is blocked by Towns. Are they going to call goaltending? They are.
A little bit of a travel prior to that. He took a little extra step, got away with it. But I do think that ball was on its way down.
Great reaction.
You love the emotion. Karl Anthony Towns, just a great young man who really has embraced being part of Kentucky basketball and all that that means.
Nice entry pass into him. Lost where he was on the court a little bit and threw that over the rim, off the backside of the backboard and out of bounds to Florida.
Coach Calipari wanted to foul, down low the block that time. Towns has 8 points, 8 rebounds now in the game. With 7 rebounds real quick in the first couple of minutes.
9 minutes to play. Chiozza found a little opening. And it's tipped around by Murphy. Out of bounds to Florida.
Where Florida's changed up their style a little bit as far as their offensive attack goes is you always have to get in the body of a shot blocker. What a shot blocker wants is space.
Yeah.
Space allows him to go up and block the shot. But if you get into their body, it's as they leave their feet, they're going to naturally go backwards. That's what allowed Chiozza to even get that one up on the iron. Sometimes teams are so fearful of the height, they think if they fade away, that gives them an opportunity to get it up. It doesn't.
Murphy thought about a 3. Finney Smith has 1 field goal. Michael Frazier has 2 free throws. Those are your 2 top scorers for Florida. Chiozza. Murphy tipped it up there. Somebody really rattled the iron. And it's going to be offensive interference on the bucket by one of the Florida Gators. It goes back to Kentucky.
It was on Robinson sneaking in from the outside. And really no need to grab it. You'll see Robinson, there's no need to grab the rim right there.
Well, Florida had a chance at that point to get it down to a 2-possession, or a 4-point game, I should say. Missed an opportunity with a bad offensive trip. Dakari Johnson and a bunch of traffic draws a foul.
Early in the season, Dakari Johnson really kind of separated himself as far as his commitment of maxing out every single day. Now, that doesn't mean that he was the most elite athlete that was out on the floor, but his effort level that he gave every single day was one that Coach Calipari told me back in October and November was a point of emphasis for him at practice, saying, look, he is giving us all that he can. He might not be able to run up and down the floor 25 times as fast as everybody else, but he's giving us max effort, and that's what it takes to have the type of season that Kentucky's had.
Plus, he is 7 feet tall, 255 pounds. We saw him before the start of the second half actually having one of those harnesses on with a trainer pulling behind him, and you and I looked at each other like, we've been playing since like August on the early summer trip. You know, do I have to do this every day? Carter. Horford's there. Got it to him. But he ran out of real estate because of the long arms of Cauley Stein and Dakari Johnson. Under 8 to play. Number 1 Kentucky trying to go to 32-0. They lead by 6.
SEC Network Basketball is presented by Regions Bank. Proud to be the official bank of the SEC.
He's had a really solid afternoon. 4 of 6 overall from the field. You see the numbers from beyond the arc. He's not forcing up the 3-point shot. And his shot selection has been efficient. Thus, his game has been tight.
20 points between the Harrison twins. 7 for Andrew, 13 for Aaron. Finney Smith, tough lob to get it into Robinson. Robinson going against Booker. Foul called. Shots rejected, but he's going to the line. That's the 3rd foul on Devin Booker.
Look at the points in the paint in the second half. It's diminished. Their efficiency has diminished. And there's a warning now against Coach Calipari on the sideline.
Coach of the year in the SEC. Maybe Coach of the Year overall when it's all said and done. And one of 12 finalists for the Basketball Hall of Fame that will be announced at the Final Four in Indianapolis. Devin Booker with his 3rd foul, and Devin Robinson with his first free throw.
Well, Robinson first made free throw of the game for Florida, and he's been the only one that's attempted free throws. Actually, excuse me, Michael Frazier has 2 of them.
Yep. Still not many trips there for the Gators, and that hasn't helped their cause. Down 5, 7:35 to go. Andrew Harrison waits for what Coach Calipari is pointing out on the sideline, and now they go to work in their offense.
Zone defense by Florida. Stay connected on the back line.
They get the entry to Cauley-Stein. Kind of threw that hook shot. Towns with a follow and one.
Well, how many times have we seen this in the game? The offensive rebound by Karl-Anthony Towns. He just takes up real estate, says, you know what, I want this space on the floor a little bit more. Utilizes his upper body strength. Buries Devin Robinson underneath the rim, and then he corrals it. You know what, Big Blue Nation, they like it. I think he's excited.
Towns' first trip to the free throw line, successful three-point play. He's got 11. Lead goes back to 8. Towns working on a double-double with those 9 rebounds. Carter, tough catch, drives in, kind of threw up a prayer. Here comes Kentucky. Harrison got it down to Lyles, and he's fouled by either Hill or Horford. It's going to be Hill.
After missing 3 games with an illness, Lyles has returned, and he shot 60% from the field. He doesn't take a lot of shots, averages 9 points a game over that stretch, but the quality of shot that he takes separates him. He's got a great feel for the game, and one of the best attributes of his game is just his willingness to go after any rebound anywhere at any time. Even if he doesn't get it, he forces the defense to react to him and often create space for others to get rebounds.
When he's out there with Cauley-Stein or Johnson or Karl-Anthony Towns, you forget that he's 6'10" also, which is small for their front line.
So a missed free throw and a missed opportunity for Florida as Dorian Finney-Smith stepped over the line. An afternoon that Dorian Finney-Smith would like to forget thus far.
You're not kidding. Had such a great game last night, and the win over Alabama with a double-double, 23 points and 11 rebounds, and he's sitting on 1 field goal that came way back in the first half. So another try for Lyles. And he got the second. The mulligan goes. The lead is back to 10. Oh, nice drive by Hill, but no defense there at all.
And 0 help side rotation over of the defensive end of the floor that time. I think even Hill was even a little bit more surprised as he came around that there was nobody there.
He's lucky he didn't miss it. He was so wide open. And a tangled up lane, and another foul called.
Come off the screen, Lyles backs up and then stops and leaves the ball. You never leave the ball defensively. If you switch, you've got to stay with it.
And Kentucky's in the 1-on-1 here. Karl-Anthony Towns can make it a double-digit lead again. So far, 11 points, 9 boards.
In the last 10 games, averaging 13 points, shooting 63% from the field, over 8 rebounds per game. He's had 4 double-doubles during that stretch.
Had 19 in the first game in the regular season, 13 more at Rupp. And now he's adding to his total. He's got 9 points here in the second half of his 13. And it's a 10-point advantage again at the 6-minute mark. Hill looking for some help.
And that time, Kayla did a nice job gapping up Hill. Casey Hill, not a great shooter by any stretch of imagination, and we're playing to that. Good defense by Tyler Ulis on Dorian Finney-Smith. They didn't let him get the ball down low, even though he had the height advantage.
when Florida desperately needed a field goal. Instead, they end up with another turnover.
There's a great graphic about Kentucky in the last 6 possessions, everything coming inside the paint.
And a foul in the paint. Going to be on Devin Robinson.
Great defense on that last possession by Tyler Ucla. You're not going to see this in the box score, but look how aggressive he is, where he's putting himself in position. Dorian Finney-Smith has a huge size advantage, and they couldn't get anything out of that.
Dorian Finney-Smith and Michael Frazier have 4 points combined.
Those are not numbers that are winning numbers for Florida.
And they're usually combined for 26 on average. This next free throw could give Kentucky its biggest lead of the afternoon.
There it is. And Dorian Finney-Smith once again stepped in the lane early. So even if he would have missed it, they would have had another opportunity.
And I think we're going to get a bench warning now against Billy Donovan, it appears. The fire that burns inside these two coaches, some don't show it as much as others. There's some simmering going on right now. John's going, okay, I'm up 12, I'm cool. I wasn't earlier. Billy's going.
That's good officiating, though, not to tee him up in that moment. You just give him a warning. Let the first one slide, just as they did for Coach Calipari.
Now Kentucky doing what they have done 31 times before this season, starting to open things up. Even though they'd had some close calls, this one looked like it was going to be. And under the 5-minute mark with a 12-point lead, if they continue playing the way they are and Florida's offense continues to sputter, it's going to be 32-0, and see you tomorrow in the semifinals. Ucla will take a long three with a shot clock winding down, and he knocked it down.
Well, this is a problem that's been for Florida at their offensive end. Their inability. They have scoring droughts. No such droughts for Kentucky here in the second half. Tyler Ucla with the shot clock winding down, able to knock down the three-point look.
Florida's last 6 trips, they've got 1 field goal out of 5 tries and 1 turnover. Now they're 1 for 6 field goal wise in their last 7 trips. And the wheels of the Gator wagon are wobbling right now.
And Finney-Smith is 1 of 8 on the game now.
We talked about Finney-Smith and Frazier being the keys for Florida. Wrong set of keys right now.
And that last rebound for Karl Anthony Towns gave him the double-double. It's his 7th of the season.
5 on the shot clock. Andrew Harrison. And blocked by Robinson. Towns tried to get it back up there before the shot clock went off. Couldn't quite do it. But Kentucky is 3 minutes and 41 seconds away from still being perfect at 32-0.
Karl Anthony Towns. He told me, listen, he's young. He's not always locked in, but he said the good thing is he's always learning. He's always listening. He wants to get better. And what they're telling him is keep it simple. You don't need to do any flashy stuff. Just do what you do and do it well. And Sean, you've mentioned that paint area. That is his place.
And what he's already doing is pretty special. When he gets better, he's going to be really good. Frazier trying to run around a pick. Will take a three. Still doesn't have a field goal.
You know, Brad, there's been some discussion, about Kentucky this week. There was an article like, is it bad for basketball that they're having this success? I think it's great for college basketball. You know, in the NBA, we celebrate teams like the Spurs and the Hawks who play as a group and are unselfish. This Kentucky basketball team has been unselfish all season long. They don't care about the individual awards. They've sacrificed individual statistics for the betterment of the team and the opportunity to maybe do something that's special. And so far this season, they have answered that call every single night.
Their leading scorer is the guy that's got the ball right now, 11 points a game. He has 13 today, but that just tells you that they share the wealth. And especially defensively, they work so hard to make it so tough. Florida's finding that out for the third time this season.
And it's tough on Florida. And Michael Frazier and Dorian Finney-Smith are just completely out of it. Neither one of them have been able to impact this game in the way that they have all season long. Especially Dorian Finney-Smith, when you look at his numbers as he was coming in here, 3 double-doubles in the last 5 games.
After the game, we tune into the SEC Network Plus and watch ESPN for each team's post-game press conferences live. One will be a happy press conference and one not so much. And right now it's Kentucky's with 2.5 to go.
People watching this game down on Broadway here in Nashville are starting to head up to the arena to try to find Gator fans walking out.
Right. Andrew Harrison, his first field goal of the second half. And that's a 17-point lead. And a turnover. And Kentucky at the 2-minute mark start to style and profile.
As only certain people can. You have to be elite to style and profile. The Kentucky Wildcats are elite. But the gold isn't going to be around their waist. They want the gold that they're going to be able to lift over the top of their head in Indianapolis and hope to have the pursuit of perfection.
That's 8 games from now. Still a long ways to go, but they're about ready to head to Saturday semifinals tomorrow. Remember, we got 3 more games to go here today, including Auburn, a surprise team, coming up next against the 4th seed LSU. One of the Harrison twins is done for the day. And brother Aaron is saying, you want me to? The coach is going, I don't know which one's which, just both of you come out.
What a luxury it's been for Coach Calipari. And I think this is, we talk about depth sometimes in college basketball and how it's overrated because usually you break down your roster to about 7 guys right now. But when you're in a tournament like this and you have the potential to play 3 games in 3 days, having this kind of depth really shows up as Karl-Anthony Towns gets another block.
And finally, Finney-Smith, way too little and way too late with his first field goal of the second half. Remember, Florida had to play Alabama and play hard just to win that game, so that could have something to do with it. But for the most part, it's just too much Kentucky defensively, too much depth, too much height inside. And with a minute to go, Kentucky about to go to 32-0.
Well, Kentucky's been too much for everybody so far this season.
Lyles, Stein and Booker fight and get the rebound. They pull it back out. Fresh shot clock. Lyles, or rather Ucla, wise enough to back it out. An arena packed with the Big Blue Nation. Everybody's up. Kentucky about to go to 20-0 this year when holding opponents under 55 points. Florida may not even get a chance to get to 50. Although Horford's still playing hard, blocks a shot underneath.
Well, they can smile on the sideline now for Kentucky.
Last rebound is who else? Karl-Anthony Towns.
They had shirts that said 31-0, not done. Now they're 32-0, and they're still not done.
Still perfect in the pursuit of perfection. Kentucky will move on to the semifinals tomorrow. They'll play the winner of our second game today, and that will be the matchup that's about 23 minutes away, and that's Auburn and LSU. And Auburn had to play 2 and win 2 just to get here. Tonight, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, and South Carolina. Right now, Shannon Spake with a winning coach, John Calipari.
Coach